What food used to be good but they changed the recipe and now it sucks? Outback. When they went public, they downsized all their dishes and raised prices. You can tell some boardroom butthole was all like, or downsize the Aussie chips and salads by making the presentation seem larger with oversized, random shaped dishes. I remember at one time you had to wait to eat there, and now, even at peak times, you can waltz right in. Still pisses me off. I used to love Outback. I went there almost once a month. Now it is more like once a year and I leave disappointed every time. Briz used to be the best for store-bought ice cream, but now it's just a crappy mess of what it used to be and is now considered a frozen dessert since it's anything but what it used to be. I also remember Wendy's burgers being much better than now. If I'm not mistaken, Wendy's used to season with message but removed it due to that scandal, but once the guy who made those claims was sued and had his medical license removed, they never added it back. Message is harmless for your information. Chips Ahoy. I'm not sure if it's because I'm older now. I remembered as a kid they used to taste so good and cookie-like. Now it just tastes like a rock of sugar with chocolate in it. This goes double with the chewy Chips Ahoy. I was never a fan of the normal ones, but a decade plus ago the chewy ones were hard to pass up. Nowadays they taste like unsweetened crap discs. Ritz crackers. For some inexplicable reason, maybe around 5 years ago the crackers went from being nice and firm and dippable to nowadays easily crumbling to bits with even the lightest dip. The flavor too is noticeably less buttery than it once was. Maybe they went on the cheap with whatever oil or shortening they use. Okay, it's not just me who noticed they are more crumbly. Honeycombs. The cereal, not actual honeycombs. I swear it used to have an actual flavor to it, sort of reminiscent of honey, even. But now it just tastes sweet. Sort of like if someone replaced your malt oatmeal with cream of wheat. Still obviously the same kind of thing, but with the flavor missing. They actually changed it back. Honeycomb was my favorite cereal for a long time and then they released a new flavor a while ago and I completely stopped buying it. Then they had boxes saying it's back and I tried it again and it's the same old flavor I'm used to. Pillsbury cookie dough in a tube. About 8 months ago the package advertised great new recipe. It was not great. Call me a grouchy old man, but I full on wrote a letter to the company telling them I didn't like it and I would not buy it again unless they changed it back. I wrote a letter about Marie Callender's changing a frozen food recipe and they sent me a coupon for a free one, and by the time I went to use it the recipe had changed back. It was weird. They listened though. I must not have been the only one to complain. Cadbury creme eggs. I bought one a few years ago and could have sworn it was old stale because the creme inside was nearly crystallized and it tasted horrible. But nope, it was just a new recipe they were using for them. Never had one since. My local Chinese place changed owners. That was my spot for 15 years. Then bam, new owners, new chefs. Haven't been back since. It's been 5 years. My wife gets annoyed when we walk past because I always bring it up. Turkey Hill peanut butter ice cream. The best ice cream in the world until they started putting in less peanut butter chunks. Thinking we wouldn't notice. Oh, we noticed. They have to make room for all the extra turkey. Arby's horseradish sauce. Back in the early 2000s, it used to be so potent it was a very good stuffy nose remedy. Now it's not. Now it's just mayonnaise that was in the same room as a horseradish root once. Don't know what happened, but Subway used to be freaking delicious. But now their food tastes artificial and doesn't have the same flavor. Panera has greatly disappointed me. They changed up all their crap, started calling it artisan and charged $2 more, and it sucks. The food is disappointing, and the service, at least out my way, is worse than the crappy fast food joints being staffed by dumbass kids. Everything Panera does is bad. Bland coffee, dull salads, soup from a bag, stale bread, they're horrible. I don't know if it's just me, but in the UK in the 90s and 80s, McDonald's used to have a completely different taste to it. I distinctly remember the taste of the burgers and milkshakes being completely different to what it is now. Then again, I was a small child, so maybe my taste buds were fricked up or something. LMAO. Campbell's clam chowder soup. It used to be thick and have plenty of clams. A decade or so ago they changed it to be watery and have more potatoes. I used to eat this crap religiously as a kid. I thought I'd just grown up and my tastes had matured, but glad to know it wasn't just me. This is from way back. Back in the 90s, Snapple was killing the drink scene, like murdering all other drink sales. So Coca-Cola decided they'd get in on it, and released their own natural juice-based drinks, called Fruitopia. They had a few kinds, but the absolute best one was called Strawberry Passion Awareness, and it was freaking delicious. So refreshing and not too sweet. Then, they changed it. No more Snapple-esque glass bottles. Plastic. No more real fruit juice. HFCs. No more refreshingness. Fake fruit punch. No more subtle sweetness. Pure sugar. I hated it. It was like making an awesome friend at summer camp, then seeing them at school the next year, and their own butthole. I loved Fruitopia Strawberry Passion Awareness. So delicious. I really miss it. Boston Market mac and cheese used to be awesome, but I think they changed their recipe for the cheese sauce a few years ago and it hasn't been the same. Canadian Smarties. They totally changed the flavor of the chocolate maybe like 10 or 15 years ago, and now they taste awful. Dunkin' Donuts. They used to bake them fresh. Now I think they are made in supply facilities and shipped to stores. You can actually taste the old. That last line sounds like an awesome slogan. Pizza Hut. When I was younger, the 90s, the crust and dough was like buttery and crispy, similar to old Chicago restaurant. But slowly over the years the pizza went seriously downhill. Now it's very greasy. The dough is cheap and rubbery and the cheese is so cheap. You can see where it breaks off instead of stretching like normal cheese. Kraft Deluxe Mac and Cheese. When I was a kid, there used to be so much macaroni in the box and the cheese was so thick it would take it so long to melt. Now they changed to a different pasta that takes so long to cook and still isn't soft and the cheese isn't the same at all. I used to think Kraft mac and cheese used to rock. Bonus back in the day, before Velveeta mac and cheese was a thing, if you would take some Velveeta cheese from the box or a few Kraft singles and melt it in it, now, it tastes like crappy pasta with a faint cheese flavoring. When I was in Girl Scouts I obviously sold cookies each year or a fundraiser. Now there are 2 Girl Scout cookie bakers, ABC Bakery and Little Brownie Bakery. Each council gets to choose which bakery they use. The bakeries are required to make Thin Mint Samoas, Caramel Delights, and shortbreads, trefoils, but both bakeries also sell tagalongs, peanut butter patties, which are like a Reese's cookie. A couple years ago I met a family who lives several states away and in that state they used Little Brownie Bakery. Their lactose intolerant daughter loved tagalongs, but couldn't eat them anymore because they had changed the recipe and now it has milk. But where I lived we use ABC Bakery and they still don't use milk in the cookie. The family ended up buying almost 4 cases of tagalongs from me. Each box is $4 and each case has 12 boxes. They spent almost $200 on Girl Scout cookies. Starbucks pastries. Used to be fresh daily and big. Now they are pre-packaged garbage, and coincidentally more expensive. Marie Callender's microwave meals. They used to be awesome and tasted amazing. I noticed a huge drop off within the past few years to the point where they are just like any other cheap microwavable dinner, which sucks. I was a chef and I liked their meals before, so that's telling. Specifically it was their chicken fettuccine alfredo with broccoli that I used to love, but they changed the recipe and took away the pepper packs that it used to come with. Now it's less creamy, fairly bland, less chicken, and less broccoli. Also the chicken used to be just chunks of chicken. Now it's ultra processed, pressed, etc. One step away from being cheap chicken lunch meat. Same thing with Campbell's chunky soups. Back in the 90s it wasn't dog food. Kirkland protein bars. They changed something in the formula that now gives me brutal gas. While the extra farting is fun at home, I don't want to feel all bloated and gassy in a 10 AM meeting at work. My friend's dog ate an entire box of these when he was unsupervised. The dog is okay. Anyway, the dog ran around the yard farting and yowling for an entire hour. It didn't look fun. Hear me out. I really hope someone can chime in here, but I seriously think Doritos have had less cheese powder for the last several years. The problem seems to be worse in the small bags. If someone comes out with a Doritos replacement that has a buttload of cheese powder, they will make millions. Every chip is a disappointment nowadays. I'm from the UK, but my dad used to bring Fruit Loops back from America a lot. Noticed they massively dulled in taste, were never the same. Also Tuck biscuits, if anyone knows what they are. Yeah, Fruit Loops suck now. They lowered the sugar in them. A pizza restaurant near me completely changed from Neapolitan style to football bar food pizza style out of the blue, and I guess expected nobody to notice. Cholula hot sauce. I don't know if they actually changed anything or if my tastes just changed, but it used to be my go-to hot sauce and now it has this metallic flavor to it. Thought maybe I got a bottle from a bad batch or something, so I bought another, but had the same results. It was legit changed. I remember reading about it in our hot sauce. Andy Cap hot fries and cheddar fries. They once were a bag of delicious, but now they are bland and taste stale even when fresh. This is what I came here to say. Chester's hot fries are a worthy replacement, though if you haven't tried them. Not quite as good, but they're hotter and have a great flavor. Sour Patch Kids. Once they added that blue flavor, I think they changed the recipe of all the others. They now all are thick and hard, where the old ones were really nice and soft and chewy. Lemon was my favorite flavor before because it actually tasted like real lemons, but now it tastes like unbearable artificial lemon flavor. I find Sour Patch Kids vary wildly from package to package. You've really gotta stumble across a fresh one. Avoid that crap entirely if you see clumped sugar. Those are the stale, thick, hard ones. Trix. There were a few years where they weren't fruit shapes but weird earth-toned flavorless balls. I think they changed it back recently though. Their original shape was the balls. The fruit shapes started in 1991. One of my favorite sushi places had shrimp covered in coconut shavings and then was deep fried. I went back there the other day and they changed it so it's deep fried shrimp with some coconut sauce on top. It's not the same. Kraft mac and cheese. I remember getting a sloppy mess as a kid with the shapes. That was delectable. Nowadays it's just kind of like melting American cheese over noodles. Taco Bell grilled stuffed burrito. Actually, it's not that bad even now, but I do miss the old recipe. I posted this before and another kind redditor told me how to modify your GSB so that it replicates the original recipe. GSB minus guacamole, minus sour cream, minus avocado ranch at spicy ranch. It actually works and I do it this way now. Getting rid of the lava sauce was unforgivable. I used to add it to everything. Then they got rid of the meal deals. I still love Taco Bell, but I don't like how they've messed with the menu. Portuguese drink Sumal, if that was the name. Something like Fanta but way better taste, more fruity. Orange Imo. 2 years ago tried it again. Crap was heavy acid. I think I could swap my car's battery liquid with that and increase performance. It seems a lot of these comments are about fast food chains, and I think I know why they are dropping in quality. I think it's because a lot of these places based most of their marketing strategies on their prices rather than the quality of their product. $5 footlongs, 555 deals, etc. Their advertising was mostly about how low their prices were, rather than how much better tasting their food was. I believe this locked the expectations of the public as to what food should cost. So when the cost of producing that food went up, due to inflation or fluctuations in market value or availability of ingredients, the companies had to find ways to lower costs or risk losing their customer base. The price of a Little Caesars pizza hasn't changed since I was a teenager, but the value of a $5 bill surely has decreased due to regular inflation. I'll never forget those stuffers fettuccine pasta and chicken and broccoli meals that used to have a ton of fat pieces of chicken, only for them to gradually cut down to very tiny shreds, and barely any in the meal. Frick you, stuffers, Dumby. Every single main comment in this thread is 110% due to companies either going public and answering to a shareholder, instead of making a quality product or putting profit over quality. But the few that stood out to me is 1. Brea's ice cream. Used to be 3 simple ingredients. cream, sugar, whatever its flavor was. Now its ingredients read like stereo instructions. 2. KFC in Canada splitting the thigh piece into 2 pieces. I mean, that's just being cheap and thinking the consumer is too oblivious to notice. 3. McDonald's French fries used to be cooked in beef fat from their burger processing. Nowadays, who knows? Probably palm oil. They just taste like salt now. And brew, they cut the amount of sugar that was in it in half. Healthier now, but it's just not the same. Bring it back. Those cool brownies I had in middle school. Now a senior in HS and they switched to a healthier variety that is hard and dry than a dessert. Plus, they don't spoil, which means something is really wrong. Pringles. They barely put seasoning on them now. I remember when the cheddar cheese Pringle used to be all orange and now it looks like a regular Pringle. Hamburger Helper cheeseburger macaroni. It's kinda bland, but I remember this being manna of the gods when I was a child. Carl's Jr. When I was a kid it rivaled In-N-Out. Sometimes if you wanted a burger you would choose Carl's. Those days are so long gone. Last time I ate Carl's it tasted like chemicals. McDonald's French fries. I remember when they tasted like potatoes and were so delicious. Now they're so processed, they taste terrible and I can't even digest them. Back when they were cooked in beef tallow, Julia Child said she liked them. My schools used to have these calzones that thicken filled with pepperoni and sauce. They changed it to a thinner version with different sauce and cheese and it made everyone depressed. In the UK, Dr. Pepper, they cut the sugar down in it and I swear it messed with the taste a bit. Lucozade also tastes bad and also them cutting the sugar was a bad idea because a lot of diabetic people use it. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.